Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Football Sunday, Browns and Bengals. This is your Network 216 pregame show. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Zach DeFranco, Eddie McDonald, Casey Kinnaman. Gentlemen, how are we feeling on this Sunday morning? We finally have Browns regular season football. We've been waiting a long time for this day.
We made it. We made it, boys. We're here.
I am jacked.
Yeah, seriously. The four of us combined have spent a lot of hours waiting for this and talking about it in various fashions, and it's here finally. It's like, oh my god, it's like Christmas. Katie said it's like Christmas, like it really is. I said that to someone yesterday. I was like, dude, it's like Christmas Eve, and I'm excited to go to sleep. Until 4. But
Dude, it's been way too long since we've had regular season football for sure. Of course, there is a lot to talk about today, but before we get started, as always, guys, be sure drop a like on today's live stream. What that does is that helps that YouTube algorithm grow for Network 216, which we really appreciate. But also, if you're brand new to what we do, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers here, and once we do, one of our lucky subscribers is going to win a Browns jersey of their choice. So again, all you have to do, subscribe to the channel. Once we get to 2,000 subscribers, I believe we're about 85 away the last time I looked, and that could have even changed since we started doing this live stream. So we're so close to getting there. Really appreciate all the support that you guys have given us. And let's get down to it. So, gentlemen, the Bengals are coming to Cleveland for Week 1. The Browns historically, we know it's that last year was the first time the Browns won a home opener, I believe, since 99. Maybe I'm wrong on that exact date. But the Browns have not won a home opener in an even a longer time frame than that. So, first off today, Kevin Stefanski has a pretty good record, not only against the Bengals, but against the AFC North. How confident are you guys coming into this game today against Joe Burrow and the Bengals?
I think I'm too confident in a sense.
Yeah.
Because I just see the disadvantage of Joe Burrow not playing all summer. And just recently come back to practice. That matters.
And Deanna Rossini, I think she posted how, keep an eye on his mobility in and out of the pocket still, even with that injury. He's clear to go, but I think she kind of hinted that he might not be 100%. Granted, it's Joe Burrow, dude. He's a great quarterback. You can never take him as a joke, even if he's 75%, he can still make plays. But without Myles Garrett, without Za'Darius Smith alongside Myles Garrett, how much we could get to him now with this new and improved defensive line, it could be trouble. Oh my gosh.
We got Jacob Roach and Nick Carnes from the Barking Browns show.
I can't hear a fucking word you're saying.
Are we live?
Yeah, we are. We're in the line to take a piss. Yeah.
I love it.
We're gonna go. Hey, Greg Williams is in the Muni lot. We're trying to find him.
Oh my gosh.
Triple G is somewhere in this Muni lot right now. And I'm trying to find him.
We're gonna his 8 tailgate offers.
Yeah, we're gonna go rock this piss. And we're gonna go find Andy, and we're gonna go inside.
Okay.
Nice.
So we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good,
go
gentlemen. Have fun. Go Browns.
Go Browns. Woo!
Okay,
that was something. That was something.
I love that. That just made
Dude, I remember he said they thought that he was going to join, but I was not expecting it to be while they were in line for the bathroom. So I love it.
With Jacob, anything is possible.
Wild card for sure.
Sorry to interrupt you, Zach. What was your thought? You were mentioning Joe Burrow and his mobility.
No, I'm very happy to be interrupted by waiting in the piss line, Jacob. But I'm just saying, with just Myles Garrett basically on this defensive line, the havoc it created for Joe Burrow, for some reason, it's just we have that success on the defensive line against our offensive line. So now this new and improved defensive line, new and improved defense with Jim Schwartz in general, it could cause even more havoc. And I think that, I know we'll get to it, is a very big key to success today is this new defensive line, front seven, stepping up big time against Joe Burrow, who might not be 100%.
Well, that's just it. It's the matchups. That's what makes you feel confident. You know, like whether the Browns meant to do it or not, they built a bizarro version of the Bengals offense. You know what I mean? Just what they can do with their cornerbacks, the way they can cover, the way they – and I don't care that the Bengals reshuffled their offensive line. Unless they went and cloned Anthony Munoz, you're not blocking Myles Garrett. You got Jonah Williams getting his first game at right tackle. Oh, here's Za'Darius Smith. Like the Bengals, they're going to have to play a quick game. They know because of his injury that they can't hold the ball. But it's not even up to them whether they can hold on to the ball. Like that – they're going to have to speed up his process. If they can speed up Burrow's process and then the corners and safeties can tackle today and limit the yards after the catch, I feel very confident in this matchup.
100%.
Yeah, I think the big thing that really no one has talked about outside of Diana Rossini mentioning this, Joe Burrow has not played the entire preseason. And I'm not here to say that Joe Burrow, for him to succeed in the NFL, needs to be playing in the preseason. But when you're coming off an injury like he is that affects your mobility, the fact that he hasn't played, and really for the most part until this week, I don't believe he's practiced fully until this week. To me, if you're a Bengals fan, that would concern me a little just because, again, he struggled historically against the Browns. Not only are they going to have trouble blocking Myles Garrett, but Za'Darius Smith, Shelby Harris, Dalvin Tomlinson, Ogbo Okoronkwo. I mean, there's a lot of talent on this Browns defensive line. And the Bengals have had issues in years past just blocking Myles Garrett. And now you bring all that talent and you have a beat-up Joe Burrow. I'm very confident too, but Eddie, I'm kind of with you. I feel like I'm overconfident to the point where I just expect us to have our way with Cincinnati today.
Yeah, that's exactly what I expect.
And I'm trying not to just have my expectations be so out there because I know from years past, and I'm trying not to do that so much. But another matchup, guys, that no one's talking about in this game, Deshaun Watson, of course, he's going to make his first week 1 regular season start since 2020. But also, the Bengals lost both of their starting safeties. Why is nobody discussing this whatsoever? They lost Jesse Bates, who is a former All-Pro safety. They lost him. They lost Von Bell, both captains of the defense. And really, they were the ones that made the secondary go. Why is no one talking about Deshaun Watson today? They're talking about can he return to form, but why aren't they talking about the fact that the Bengals have lost so much talent in that secondary?
Yeah, it's not even just the safeties, though. You know, this is Cheaty's first game back since he tore that ACL against the Browns last Halloween. So he's coming back from injury. Cam Taylor-Britt's a second-year player. There's all kinds of inexperience back there. That's something the Browns have to test right out the gate.
Yeah. 100%. I really do think if we can beat them in the pass, it's just going to open up the run. If we can beat them with the run, it's going to open up the pass. I really don't think people are, especially Bengals fans, I really don't think they understand what this new Browns offense could potentially look like. And I know it might not start off fast week 1, but it's going to be very exciting. And like Deshaun said, it's going to be fireworks. So let's hope that starts off right off the rip.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be able to move the ball downfield. But you're right, Tyler. I haven't heard anyone talk about that all week except for it was like the Browns Daily Show with Nathan Zagura and them. They had the Cincinnati guy on and said they were talking about their safeties and how they fare well. That was the first I've heard of it until just now. So that's weird because like Deshaun's had that full offseason, so he's ready to rock. So that's going to be huge. I think they can take advantage of it, and maybe that kick starts the offense even earlier than what it's probably going to be. It's going to take time. They're not going to come out and just throw a 70-yard touchdown pass on the first play, and we just be off to the races. I think a lot of people think that, or some variation of that, but it'll take a little bit of time. But with these new guys and that guy coming off of injury, because they talked about that too, how he came up, but he looked strong so far in the preseason. They, eased him back and then let him go for the pass. I think it was like 2 weeks or so. So it'll be a fun, interesting matchup. But that's a great question, Tyler, because that's the second time I've heard that, and this is back-to-back days. So.
Yeah, I mean, because I was on a Bengals podcast earlier this week, and I brought that up. I asked them because why where you why has no one talked about the fact that you guys lost all this talent in the secondary? And he was honest. He's like, he doesn't know, because he said that's one of his biggest worries this season is you lose all this talent in the secondary. And people, like he said, we know the Bengals are a good team. Like, as fans, we know that. But at the same time, we got worse. Like, we didn't, our roster on defense did not get better. We got worse. So, very good point. And while we are on the offense, we know this offense is going to look different. We kind of have an idea on what to expect, but we still really don't know exactly what all we're going to see today. What are your expectations for this Browns offense week 1? I'm trying to hold back the expectations a little bit because, again, this is a brand new offense. Deshaun Watson is still, I believe, trying to shake off some of the – he's not going to play bad. But I don't think he's going to go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. So what are your expectations for this Browns offense today?
I expect them to be explosive plays, 20-plus yard plays. They need to get the defenses to respect them, because what they put on tape those last 6 games of last year is what everybody's holding on to. Well, you got to go out there and show them that you need to guard every blade of grass against this offense. But here's the thing with the Browns, man, they can do that in the running game as well. It isn't just limited to passing game. You know what I mean? Yeah. What I'm most interested to see is how Chubb is implemented into this offense, especially if it's going to be based more out of the shotgun. What kind of gun run stuff they pull? Is it mostly inside zone? And then how Chubb fits into the passing game. It's very intriguing. They need to be efficient and explosive. If they're those 2 things, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, a lot of 5 wide sets. I'm really interested in seeing, if we do run, I mean, because we still have that question mark. Okay, is it Pierre Strong, Jerome Ford? Who's going to be really, it's going to be running back 2, 2A, 2B. Is Elijah Moore going to be playing out of the pistol with Nick Chubb a lot today? Like, so. Are we going to see him? I really do think so as well. I think you're going to see a lot of mismatches created because of Elijah Moore alone, and he's going to be a huge factor into the success of the offense today. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I think that too. I couldn't agree more with that, what you just said there. I think what's going to be really cool is when they use that pistol and both Chubb and Elijah Moore back there, you have no idea what they're going to do. And I also think Nick Chubb is going to be way better than he's ever been in the passing game this year, because it's just mainly him. Before we've had Kareem Hunt, and he was mainly that, third down back and was the receiving one. I think Chubb's going to catch a lot more. I think he's underrated as a pass catcher. It's not like he's great. I'm not saying he's, anywhere near the top of the field, but he's not near the bottom either. He's like somewhere in the middle, and he's productive in that area. And I think they're going to exploit that, especially when you have the option of Moore alongside him. So should be explosive. It should, like Mikey said, or Casey, I'm sorry, it should be explosive, because that's just how it should be, I guess. I don't know.
So here's a good follow-up question to that on Nick Chubb. Of course, we've had Kareem Hunt the past couple of years that has caused Nick Chubb to come off the field, especially on third down. Are you guys expecting to see Nick Chubb now as a 3-down back moving forward? Or do you think that Jerome Ford is going to step in and they're going to be playing Jerome Ford on third down to be that pass-catching type back? What are you guys expecting to see from Nick Chubb? I think his usage this year is going to be higher than it ever has been.
I think it is. Sorry, Casey, I'll let you get you, but I just want to say I think he's going to be a 3-down back just because Stump Mitchell said he's going to be a 3-down back this year. So I don't think he has any reason to lie about that. I think that's what they see Nick Chubb as this season. And I think that's why they didn't really necessarily pull a big trigger on making a move to get someone else behind him. I think they know Nick Chubb can carry the workload on a pass heavier offense now. I don't know if you guys disagree with that, but I just think he's not going to maybe even see as many touches as he did last year on the run game, but he's going to be out there probably like 95% of the snaps.
Last year, Chubb only played 56% of the snaps, so I definitely think there's a massive uptick there. And it's interesting because I think you're going to see Jerome Ford, but I think it's going to be on a per series basis. I think it's going to be to spell Chubb for a series, not to spell him for a down. Unless it's a crazy long drive and he just, we've rode Chubb all the way down the field and he's getting tired. But I have yet to see that in the game, And that's the thing about Chubb is everybody kind of downplays it. Chubb has good hands. He's just not a nuanced route runner. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He didn't give you the variety that Kareem Hunt could give you, but the dude doesn't have to be Marshall Faulk to make this happen.
Yeah,
any opportunity you have to get the ball in Chubb's hand in open field, defenses don't want that, period. Point blank. You're going to see a ton of business decisions in the secondary if he's coming downhill at people in the open field. So I'm just interested to see how he's implemented, if it's going to be like Texas routes, swing patterns. We know he's good in the screen game, you know. But I think the screen game might be more wide receiver and tight end based early in the season. You have weapons like Elijah Moore. You know, they're not going to hesitate to throw what is essentially a 7-yard handoff. You know what I mean? Just get him in the flats, because he's going to make people look foolish as well. So it's just going to be interesting, man. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff that's all in theory right now. But today we actually get to see the concept of it come to fruition, man. I couldn't be more excited for it.
We got to see what, a few pass plays here and there in the preseason, and we're like, okay, Watson looks comfortable. They really like Elijah Moore. You can tell they're going to use him. I don't know, man. I'm very interested to see what this offense looks like. And a lot of people are speculating the reason they didn't make a move for another running back is because do they view Elijah Moore as that hybrid player? I think we're going to see that a lot today and get a lot of questions answered.
And I think the Elijah Moore addition too, we've already seen him out of the backfield. He can be the one taking those. Now, I do believe Nick Chubb's going to get screen passes, but then you can put Elijah Moore in the screen game from under shotgun too. So there's a lot of different ways you'll be able to use Nick Chubb. I think when it comes down to that backup running back spot, Jerome Ford is really – it's kind of hard to say that he's going to be the backup running back because he was out as long as he was this preseason. You trade for Pierre Strong Jr., who – has a ton of speed to his game, pretty solid all-around player. And the only reason I think in New England he kind of fell behind is because New England had 5 running backs. So he was never really going to be a focal point there. Do you guys think it's a given Jerome Ford is the backup running back in this offense? Because I think Pierre Strong Jr., especially if he can add something to the return game, because there's a chance he might end up returning kicks this year, Pierre Strong Jr. could come in and take that role away from Jerome Ford.
I just don't know what we have him for. We have this much of a sample size of him. We had, 8 carries last year, or 12 carries, or something like that. Either way, and we didn't see him much in the preseason. So, and he was banged up. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about Pierre Strong. I saw that he was good because he's a fast guy and he can return, like you just said, Tyler. So I think that's intriguing because, as we've seen, we don't have a true returner, unless Jakeem Grant is, doing his thing. Because they tried with Demetri Felton last year and didn't really work. And maybe they have that guy now with Pierre Strong. So I don't know. I don't think Jerome Ford is necessarily running back. I think by default he is, but I don't think that's a set in stone thing moving forward.
Yeah, that's where I'm at though too. Is I think he is today. I think he's the backup running back today. But you got to think Strong just got here. You know what I mean? And it comes down to who Stump Mitchell has faith in. If he's got faith in Ford, because he's going to decide who goes out there. That's how they do the rotations. So I think off the rip, I think you're going to see Jerome Ford, but it's not it's not in cement, man. They could definitely move over to Strong. You also have to consider they obviously were high on Strong in the draft process. Strong was taken ahead of Ford in that draft. You know what I mean? So they might even have bigger plans, and that speed makes him a return candidate. Dude, sub 4.4. I mean, those guys aren't growing on trees. And Ford did decent in the kick return game last year, but he doesn't have that kind of speed.
Yeah,
exactly.
He just doesn't. And I think you need something like that to add to this offense. And again, Nick Chubb, fantastic running back, but then Pierre Strong Jr. can add another dimension with his speed to this offense. And I think maybe the longer that he's in Cleveland, the more we might see him featured in this offense. A really good question came through. And by the way, guys, if you have questions, feel free to send them in the chat because we do want to get to some of them today. And if you've sent
a lot
one
of people
earlier,
in here. So
yeah, if you sent one earlier and we missed it, I apologize. A lot of people in the chat, so thank you guys so much for that. But here's a really good question. Pee-wee's Burnt Pizza asks, what are you guys most nervous about? Deshaun Watson's play, Kevin Stefanski's coaching, or the defense today?
I'm going to go none of the above and say offensive line.
Yep.
I'm worried about them getting quick pressure on Watson and forcing Watson into mistakes early. We need Watson to get comfortable, and to do that, man, you need clean pockets. And I know on paper, offensive line looks stellar, but we've seen leaks here and there, And Trey Hendrickson on Jedrick Wills, that is a concern.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as big of a concern, though, because all due respect to him, he's not Myles Garrett. So,
Oh no.
it isn't facing Myles Garrett every day anymore. Now it's Trey Hendrickson. So I think Jed gets a lot of hate for a lot of not like just because people don't like him. Like there's a lot of good in him, or the Browns wouldn't have picked up his option. That doesn't mean he's going to be the starter, but he's definitely going to be here next year. I think he comes out and has a big game, but the offensive line is what worries me because they're not used to a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, who is scrambling all the time, making plays with his feet. They're used to, their own set, and here comes the run game. We're just going to pound the ball, and here's a little dump off pass, or here's a pass down the sideline. So I don't know if it's a worry. It's just going to be interesting to watch because it's not new players. It's a new scheme of the offense. They're still going to obviously run the ball and be effective in that, but it's how they're going to do in the pass protection. If Watson's scrambling for his life just because they're after him, that's not going to be good because he's going to make the mistakes, like you said. But then if he's able to maneuver in the pocket, then that's when the big explosive plays happen. So the offensive line is definitely I don't think it's highly regarded still. I don't know if that's true to form. If it's highly regarded, I guess we'll find out today. I don't know if it's really one of the top 2 or 3 still.
I think something that's very interesting you mentioned there, Eddie, is, of course, the play style at quarterback is a lot different. Joel Patonio actually talked about that, too, about how they kind of have to change the way they block with Deshaun, knowing that if they can hold their blocks a little bit longer, Deshaun is going to be able to extend plays and make things happen. That's just the ability he brings to the offense. But I think what we started to see, especially in Kansas City, for sure, and we saw it to Amari Cooper, when it breaks down, if they can hold it just another second, Deshaun Watson's going to make a play because they can now again, if the play breaks down, Deshaun Watson can still beat him with his legs. But you saw, Deshaun Watson went out, I believe he rolled out to Jed Will's side, and he was able to make a play on the run to Amari Cooper. Cooper was wide open. And then Amari even said something that they've had to learn to do is keep the play alive. That play that Amari Cooper had, that 51-yard pass, I believe it was, Amari said that was not a planned route. He came back saw Deshaun was scrambling, came back to the ball, and then was wide open. And he said that's something that as an entire offense that they've been trying to work on this offseason because with Deshaun Watson, a play is never dead. And that's something with these types of quarterbacks. So I'm glad you brought that up regarding the offensive line and Jed Wills especially because I'm kind of with you. I have never been a huge supporter of Jed Wills, but if they didn't see something, he wouldn't be here. Right. Andrew Berry's moved on too many times.
And who you're replacing him with? Who realistically could you replace them with without breaking the bank?
Well, obviously DeJuan Jones. Come on, Eddie.
Oh, okay.
Obviously.
Clearly. James Hudson, baby.
Well,
please no.
I don't want to either, believe me.
I was very hard on Jed Wills at the beginning of training camp, and I had a lot of you guys talk me off the cliff. So I'm really, really excited to see if, going up against Miles one-on-one every single day truly did make him even better, right?
Yeah, it gets you better.
Yeah, it has to. You're going up against a generational talent at defensive end. It has to at least make you better. Going up against some of these guys that aren't as great as Myles Garrett. They're still NFL players. They're still great athletes, but not everyone's a Myles Garrett at defensive end. So obviously you hope that, makes it a little easier on him going into game day. And he's going to have help too, as well, against some of these good defensive ends in the league. He's not going to be one-on-one against TJ Watts and stuff like that going into games. So obviously going to be different looks.
Also, welcome in CC, Bryson 7. Do you know who you're playing today? Who Day Nation. Hey, you know what? Welcome, Bengals fans, for real. Seriously. Anyone wants to hop in the chat? You guys want to ask us questions too? That's fine. Welcome to the chat. Love to see opposing teams in here. So let's have some fun. Joseph Asai, it looks like, is inactive for the Bengals. That's actually that's pretty significant. Yeah, that's pretty significant right there. For anyone who is wondering, again, drop any questions you guys have. I saw some earlier, so please resend those if you guys are still in the chat. By the way, we are waiting to see about Juan Thornhill and his status for today. I know a lot of Browns fans are wondering if he's going to play. He did an on-the-field workout. The reports were he did not seem to thrill. that was in front of Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, Jim Schwartz. We'll see what happens. He did not seem too thrilled about it. So
I'm so bummed about that. I'm so bummed about that. For some reason, that's like one of my favorite offseason signings, just because like a lot of people like I feel are I don't know if overlooking him or disrespecting him, but like they're acting like he didn't just come from a Super Bowl winning culture. Like
exactly.
What are we saying here? Like, you know, and it's not like he was unproductive. It's not like he was getting burnt all the time for anything. Like he was highly productive for them. So why wouldn't that be the same for us? Like now I'm bummed now because he's not going to be here week 1. Because that's like
let's wait. Let's wait before. I mean, it's trending that way, but
he might not be. Let's say that.
Yeah. But I'll say this, guys. This is why you bring in Rodney McLeod. Yeah. This right here is a perfect example of why you bring in Rodney McLeod, a guy who, let's not forget, and I've said this many times, I think he's one of the most underrated signings. One, dirt cheap. You got him on a pretty much a veteran minimum near contract, has experience with Jim Schwartz, won a Super Bowl with him in Philly, and brings leadership and more Super Bowl experience to the back end of this defense. And let's not forget, too, he actually played, according to PFF, better than Juan Thornhill last year at his age. So there's not a huge – I mean, like, I want Juan Thornhill to play, but I'm saying it's not like a lot of people like, well, there it is. Okay. Browns safety Juan Thornhill will not be playing today. He will be inactive. They said they're just going to rest him, and it looks like he'll be good to go for Monday Night Football.
Smart. The Chiefs just did it with Travis Kelce, and so that's smart.
It's week 1. It's week 1.
I'm bummed about it. I really wanted to see him. Especially
we want to see everyone. You know, that's why fans wait all offseason and they go, okay, we want to see these players.
Players, do too. You know,
but you got to think of it. I think the Bengals could have easily. I don't know why. I think they could have easily signed Burrow to this deal and been like, okay, we need you for the long haul. You might not be 100%. Let's, you know, I think other teams need to look at that approach, especially like the Chiefs, like you said, Eddie, with Travis Kelce. Like that was a huge shot to their offense. That was a huge blow to their offense. They probably expected more out of Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. But that was a huge blow to their offense. You lost your number 1 receiver right there. And ultimately, I think, ended up costing you week 1 because Travis Kelce doesn't miss that ball that Kadarius Toney didn't catch. That ended up in a pick 6. But with the Browns, like Tyler just said, that's why you go add depth, veteran depth, like McLeod, and a coordinator like Jim Schwartz that is like, okay, like next man up mentality. I really, it sucks because as a fan, you want to see your new addition at safety. But I'm really, really still optimistic about this defense as a whole.
Also, before someone jumps in, we do have the inactive list. The inactive list just dropped. Eddie, you are actually right. So my apologies. It is 11:30. Juan Thornhill is inactive today, of course, like we just mentioned. I'm never going to pronounce this name right, so let's just get it out of the way now. Cornerback Khalif Hailasi will not play. Luke Whippler is inactive. That's interesting because Nick Harris looks like is over Luke Whippler right now. Isaiah McGuire. And this one, Zach, I suggested this possibility, I believe, earlier this week. Siaki Ika is inactive as well. Maurice Hurst will be active over Siaki Ika. So
you said that on FTP on Wednesday. That's
given what we know now, the inactive list, any surprises on that list that you guys are a little bit like, that's kind of interesting?
Isaiah McGuire, because I heard a lot of people talk about him in the offseason, and I talked to, I think it was Jacob about him, and I think he's the one who really sold me on him, and there was others that had written about him or talked about him that I heard. So that's sort of surprising because I thought he would be able to factor in, not in like maybe like a major way, but like factor in somehow in week 1. I thought he would be able to be, just fine, but obviously it's not there. Siaki Ika, for some reason I thought he was like going to be playing because I thought maybe in my head I thought he played better than what a lot of people projected him to this preseason and stuff. Other than that, no, I'm just bummed about Thornhill though. Now that's official, I'm just bummed.
I think the inactive of McGuire speaks more to the Alex Wrights all the way back.
That makes
he's all
sense.
the way healthy. Because I was worried that he would be in that, even though I know he
Ooh,
was off
that's
the
a
IR.
good one. I didn't even think about that one. Good one, Casey. I didn't even think about that.
Because I was kind of worried they were going to put him on the inactive for the first couple of weeks if he wasn't all the way back. But if he's on, I mean, he must be part of the rotation. The Ika makes sense just because you need a rotational pass rusher in this game. Hurst gives you that more than Ika does, especially right out the gate. There's going to come a time where they're going to need Ika. I don't think it's going to be week one against a team that lives in the shotgun like Cincinnati. The Thornhill thing, it's a bummer, especially against a passing offense like Cincinnati. But think about how much better of a place they are in this year than they would have been last year. Last year, they didn't even have a true post. And now McLeod can definitely handle that role as a backup, but he's a starting quality player.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm glad you said that earlier, though. It's not a big drop off. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I was gonna say that earlier, but now it's just like I look at it again more, and it's just like that's not that big of a drop off. He's also a Super Bowl winning safety. He knows what he's doing back there. So like, I'm excited for that too. I was excited to see them both play at the same time at different times, and we'll obviously get that hopefully as the season progresses. But I think the safety room is like very underrated because they turned Ronnie Harrison and John Johnson into Rodney McLeod and Juan Thornhill.
Mm-hmm.
I would take the latter every day.
It's a hell of a magic trick.
I love John Johnson. What was that?
It's a hell of a magic trick right there.
That's right. and I love John Johnson. When that happened, that was fantastic. That was my favorite move that offseason. It turned out not to be that great. Here we upgraded. Like we can see on paper we upgraded. And now we have a new defense. So it's not in the Joe Woods defense. It's in Jim Schwartz. So I'm excited for that. So I think that you're right on the money with that. It's not that big of a drop off. It's like from like A to B. Like, I mean, like not big at all.
Sir Grizz, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you very much for those kind words. Man, we got nearly 100 people in here. So first off, if you guys are new to Network 216, I'm gonna plug this just real quick. Please just drop a like on the video. It's so easy, and it really helps the YouTube algorithm grow, which is very important for us. But subscribe if you're brand new. We're going to be having pregame shows every week this season, pretty much at the same time, except for, of course, like Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, if we have Sunday Night Football. But, again, subscribe if you're brand new to Network 216. We also have weekly shows for those of you that are new to what we do. We do have weekly shows, and we want you guys to be able to check that out. We also do have a Network 216 Discord. The link is in the description for you guys to check out. But thank you guys so much for all the support. Really good question that I start here. Again, send us all your questions, please. We want to get to as many as we can, and we might even go a little bit over an hour if we keep getting good questions. So anyway, a good question from Bob here. You guys think Watson will get back to what he was in Houston? Real quick, before you guys give your answer, Deshaun Watson was actually asked about this question, and he said he doesn't want to get back to what he was in Houston. He wants to be better than he was in Houston, and he thinks he will be better than the player he was with the Houston Texans. So now for you guys to answer that question, do you believe Deshaun Watson will get back to that level?
Absolutely. I'm not like I know as Browns fans we do this every year. We're hopefully optimistic that okay, this is the guy. This is the guy. All right, we have Baker. All right, this is good. This is the guy. He comes out and he does all this and that, and then move on from him. And it's like, all right, now okay, we're putting all of our chips in on this guy, and I'm all in with it because like I truly think he's going to be better than that. Now that he doesn't have any off-field distractions, all of that shit is behind him, and now just play football, what he loves to do the most. And we've seen all offseason. He looks to have great chemistry with all of his receivers, his tight ends, his offensive line. Everything looks great right now. And I think we get back to that. And I think maybe just because I heard him say it, he wants to get better than Houston. I think we can see that. Because even as he is going to evolve, the NFL as a whole has evolved. So that's more suiting his game style. The mobile quarterback who can make big throws. Like that's what the NFL thrives on now, and I think he's going to thrive. And I think a lot of people just sleep on this roster and won't give them credit because of who he is and what had transpired in the offseason last year. But that's all over and done with. All he has to do is focus on football. And like I said earlier in this offseason, it's been a boring offseason, but in a good way. normally it's like, oh, it's boring because no, there was a good way. There was like no like overreactions to Brown stuff or like, oh wow, they should have done this or that. It was just, all right, let's all get there. And now Watson's there, and I think he's been building to this moment. So I think it's going to be. I think I'm going to more lean on what he's saying to be better than Houston, and that's scary for the NFL because if that's the case, then the Browns are going to be a team to reckon with for the next decade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think you said the key word, Eddie. Evolve. Let him evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to evolve as his game unfolds. It might not look the same as it did in Houston. You might not see 5,000 yards, but it doesn't have to with this roster. He doesn't have to do absolutely everything. You know what I mean? So I think he could be a better player and still not have the same statistics, just be more efficient and take less sacks and just do the little things to keep them ahead of the sticks. But, we keep wanting to put people in categories and it'll be 2020 Deshaun Watson. Allow him to evolve. He could evolve into a better player.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. And let's keep in mind, too, he has never had a running back of Nick Chubb's caliber next to him. He had David Johnson. And this is not – I'm not knocking David Johnson. Actually, when he got traded to the Texans, David Johnson was still a really good running back. But still, also, this is awesome. I apologize if I pronounce your name incorrectly. But anyway, Felipe Zarate, thank you for joining us from Uruguay.
Oh,
dude, I don't care if you root for the Bengals. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us. Awesome, man. Thank you. Seriously. Marcus Gray asks, so Hickman is active? Yes. Ronnie Hickman is active. D'Anthony Bell is active. I expect that we will see them from time to time today, probably. But any other good questions, please drop them in the chat. We have 112 people in here right now. Tim Harsh says, as a Browns fan living in Cincinnati, I need this win. I can't show my face at work if we lose this game.
Does it suck living in Kentucky? Does that suck?
Oh, my gosh. Come on. Be nice. No. Be nice.
That is nice. That's not mean. It's factual.
That's geography.
There. Yeah, that's geography. Yes, I was there. I've been there. I know that.
Oh, man.
I love it. You know what else is great, too, besides the Browns being back? Fantasy football is back, too. Like, I'm so excited for this whole day.
Yep.
I am, too. I got 6 leagues I'm trying to keep track of, so talk about stressful. Absolutely brutal.
Network. That's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that because I've never played in a Dynasty League.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun for sure. NPC asks us, also, Jeff, I apologize. He did play with Arian Foster. I forgot that he did. Arian Foster you forget about because that dude seemed like had a short career, but that dude was really good in his prime.
He was a fan for a couple years.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm so hyped for this game. This Browns win means more, right? Listen, anytime you can beat your in-state rival, I would say yes. It really does mean more. But not going to lie, we're a week away from this, but going into Pittsburgh on a Monday night on primetime, that would mean a lot to win that game too. Anyway, Felipe says, thanks to you guys as well. So hyped. Hey, man, wish you guys truly wish the Bengals the best today. It's going to be a fun game. I'm going crazy down here. Browns backer, Sarasota, Florida. Man, we got people from everywhere joining us. This is absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Backer. Shout out to Mikey. He's a Browns backer.
Yep, Mikey P. I know he's hosting something today, so he's not on, but I know they got like a big event they're hosting. Broken Arrow said, I hate seeing Steelers gear at Giant Eagle.
Same.
You have to watch roughing the passer penalties. Correct.
I live in like a Steeler-dominated like area, and so I see Steeler stuff everywhere, and it makes me sick to my stomach. So, yeah, I'm with you.
All right, let's get back on track here. If we got some more good questions, we'll for sure get to them. Any more good comments, we'll get to them. Thank you guys, everyone that's in the chat and interacting with us. We don't do this like without support from you guys, so we really appreciate that. We appreciate you giving some of your time to us today. Guys, flipping to the Bengals side of things. We know how good Joe Burrow is. We know how good this passing offense is. Who is a player on the Bengals today that you think could end up not having a big game, but it's kind of the X factor from the Cincinnati point of view?
You said not Joe Burrow?
well, more of an X factor. So someone, not Jamar Chase, not Joe Burrow. I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd personally.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think Tyler Boyd is truly – I believe he's one of the most underrated receivers in the league, and I think that's just because of the talent around him. I think Tyler Boyd's a pretty good NFL wide receiver, and he just doesn't get talked about enough because he plays with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's why. And I think against this defense, one of the Browns, it's not a worry, but who is going to be that slot corner this year? Are we going to have a legitimate slot corner that can shut down the opposing receiver? Is that going to be Greg Newsome? Is Denzel Ward going to play there? I know it's going to be a mix, but if Emerson plays there, can he do that job? I think Tyler Boyd is one of the best slot receivers in the NFL and one of the most underrated players. And I think today, as much attention as Jamar Chase is going to get from Denzel Ward, because I think Denzel Ward is going to shadow him today, I think Tyler Boyd could have a pretty good performance today.
That brings up an interesting point, though, because if they move Jamar Chase around a ton, I'm trying to keep Denzel the hell out of the slot, especially right now coming back from that concussion, just to limit contact. Because if you run out of the slot, all of a sudden he has a role in the run game. I don't want Denzel taking any extra contact. Now we'll see how they play it, but because I know they want their corners to travel, in a perfect world, that's what you want. But I would be hesitant to put Denzel in the slot right away coming back from that concussion.
A lot of people saying T. Higgins, which is fair. I only didn't list T. Higgins because I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's more of a focal point. That's really the only reason I didn't say that.
Right? He's a future Brown?
I think he's a future Carolina Panther. That's my guess.
Hey, let's relax. Let's just not do that.
Oh, man. Newsome out there today in 0. I have to admit, that's going to be sweet to see.
Yeah,
Greg Newsome wearing that number.
I love that they can wear whatever jersey they want, but seeing 0, for some reason, it just hypes me up more. I'm excited for that. I love this picture. Like, I need to get this framed.
It's a really good picture. I like it. A lot of people saying Higgins will be a Brown. Someone said Amari Cooper will be a sleeper from preseason to today. Thank you, Kelly, for joining us, by the way. From Facebook. We appreciate that. I will say from the Amari Cooper standpoint, no one is really remotely – I mean, everyone's caught up on Elijah Moore, and I think that's rightfully so, just given how much he was used. Not really anyone is talking about Amari Cooper, but I think that's just how he likes it. That's how he's been throughout his entire career. He doesn't say anything. He just lets his play do the talking.
Yeah. He's like Nick Chubb. They're like they're like the same – they're like a similar player at two different positions. They don't say much. They just keep to themselves mostly. They go out there, do their work, and then excel. And it's sort of apples and pomegranates to compare them, but they're both the same work ethic. They just go in there, work their ass off, produce at a high level, and then they both can benefit from each other in that. So I love it. And we've seen all offseason. You guys post a lot from the FDP podcast page on Twitter of the throws that he would just drop in to Amari Cooper. Yes, I know it wasn't, fully active and whatnot, but the throws he was making to him right where Amari gets him, boom, right in stride, right in the end zone, several times.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people sleep on Amari Cooper because of Deshaun Watson, because a lot of people sleep on Deshaun Watson, not necessarily who he's throwing to, but they sleep on him because they either A, don't like him, or B, just think that he's never going to get back to form.
Yeah. No, I mean, Eddie, that was great because I agree with everything you're saying. Amari Cooper has consistently always been one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. And he's never gotten, I believe, the respect that I think he deserves. Dude always performs. And the only year he had a bad year, I believe, was in Dallas. And that was because Dak Prescott was injured a lot, and Dallas was kind of a mess that year. He even performed with the Raiders when the Raiders still stunk. I mean, he's just like you said, he's Nick Chubb, but at wide receiver. He just comes in, does his job, always plays well. Here's a great question. If you had to wear a jersey of the Browns player of the game today, who's it going to be, assuming it's a win?
Browns player of the game.
Man, dude, that's difficult.
Browns player of the game, Myles Garrett.
David Njoku.
Ooh, I like the Njoku.
I like Njoku as well. I like that as well.
I haven't getting a touchdown today.
If you want good value, betting guy here. If you want good value, David Njoku anytime touchdown is plus 280 on FanDuel right now.
There we go.
Also, Elijah Moore's receiving yards is his
Very
over
low.
is 33.5.
33.5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's free money.
Dude,
That's
like
free money.
I don't understand it.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it. Also, for those in the chat, I don't know if these odds have changed, but I will at least give you guys these. Deshaun Watson anytime touchdown. Also, his passing yards is 235.5. Over for that, and then over a touchdown and a half.
Huh.
So, some fun
Amari
stuff.
Amari was plus 320 for 30 yards receiving each half.
Wow.
I don't see how he doesn't do that. I just don't see
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's just people are sleeping on the Deshaun Watson factor in this offense. I don't know. These receiving props are nuts to me. Like, I don't understand what some of them are even. Like, I don't know why they have some of these so low. And it is week 1. I mean, maybe that could have to do with it too, and just teams coming out looking a little rusty. I saw someone mention DPJ. Brownie Talk says, I think DPJ is getting underrated, almost 900 yards last year, and he's getting no attention.
I love it, though, because everyone's expecting Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. That's what everyone's talking about. But then here comes Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku to pick up right where those are leaving off. I think it's fantastic because there's not a lot of hype for him. I kept him in 2 different leagues of mine in the last round of picking, just because I think he's going to factor into this offense nicely. He might have another 800-900-yard season. He might even be beneficial enough to get 1,000 yards and keep increasing. You know, he's playing for a contract next year. It's not going to be like a massive mega deal or anything, but he's playing for a contract next year, whether it's here or elsewhere. I think that he's going to be like an underrated hero of this team for this year. I think he's going to really have a big year, especially because Watson can make plays happen and like extend plays. And there's DPJ, boom. It makes those tough catches all the time. I think it's going to work out beautifully.
Guys, we have over 200 people in here live right now, and this is amazing. This is great. This is great because we're going to be doing these basically all season.
8 new subscribers, by the way. So once again,
if you guys are new to the channel,
it.
please like, subscribe, share with friends and family because we're going to be doing these all season. Let's have a fun year, man. This is going to be a fun year for the Browns. I really feel it.
I do too. It's crazy. We're finally here though. Like we're an hour, 10 minutes away from our weeks being determined over 4 hours of television. I'm so excited. The only thing that make this better if I was there live, but that'll happen this year sometime.
Rocking that piss, rocking the piss.
Yeah, rocking the piss.
By the way, we still haven't heard back. I mean, they might. they might have.
They're probably in the stadium right now.
Probably.
That was a 2-minute experiment. That's it.
Another Bengals fan join us. Thank you. Hey, Bengals fans, thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions on them, feel free to ask. We'll answer them, truthfully. Not biased whatsoever. Jeff says Marquise Goodwin is being slept on. I think they will unleash him today. I was kind of surprised. I don't know if you guys were. I was a little surprised to see Goodwin active. There was talks that maybe he might not have been, and because I don't know how much he is used today, coming off, of course, scary blood clots. Are you guys a little surprised he's active, or what are your guys' thoughts on Marquise Goodwin today?
I mean, they can definitely use him.
Oh, for sure.
Just open that field. I don't need a lot. Give me 11 snaps. You know what I mean? Just kind of take the top off a few times. Even if they don't throw it, the teams have to respect it, and it opens everything else up underneath.
Wow.
Yeah.
Real quick, Eddie, we'll get to that in a sec. Rich donated $10 to the channel. Thank you so much for that donation. He asked a really good question here. Well, he actually makes a statement and asks what we think. My apologies, dude. Haven't had a lot of sleep. I think Za'Darius Smith
yesterday. Tyler was in Columbus.
Yeah, that was a fun Buckeye game day. Anyway, I think Za'Darius Smith gets 2 sacks. Miles gets 2 as well. What do you guys think? One of them gets 2 sacks.
I agree with that.
I think it might be Za'Darius.
It very well might be.
Casey. I was
very well might be Za'Darius Smith.
I think Za'Darius' addition is going to be night and day from Clowney. I mean, do you guys agree with that?
Mhm.
You got
Especially from a pass rushing perspective.
exactly.
Yes and no,
Yeah.
and I'll explain why yes and no in a second.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I was talking to someone who used to work with the Vikings in some capacity with like content creation and stuff. So he was around the Vikings, and he said that he was so excited for Browns fans to get Za'Darius Smith for that first year. But then after that, he could become a problem if in the locker room he's not happy. But he said, Browns fans, you guys are going to look at him this year and think, wow, that's a defensive player of the year candidate right there in Za'Darius. And when he said that, at first I was like, okay. But then I thought about it. I was like, okay, if that even comes true, if it even comes close to true, then okay, that's a great season because he's going to do that and Miles is going to do his thing. That could be special times for it. So I'm excited for Za'Darius Smith to see what he does, and I'm excited to see the new defensive line. But that Za'Darius Smith and Myles Garrett, 2 sacks each. If I was betting today, which I'm not, but if I was, I'd probably put money on both of them getting 2+ sacks.
Well, if you're going to bet today, the Browns to get 6 sacks is plus 900.
Oh, that's nice.
6 sacks. I mean, when was the last time we got 5 sacks in a game?
When was the last time we had Za'Darius and Miles, though? I don't know.
It might have been against the Bears. Justin Fields rookie year.
It was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bears.
Joe Woods, the one. No, I'm not. We're not even going to talk Joe Woods on this
Hey,
show.
shout out to Joe Woods. Shout out to him.
It's like Beetlejuice. Don't say that name.
We're not going to bash people and get bad juju in the air for us today.
No, correct. No, and that's true. I agree with that. Good question here. Chef Brian K asks, do the Browns have any active rookies today? Really good question. So Siaki Ika is actually going to be inactive. I don't know if you saw that, Brian. A big reason why the Bengals run out of the shotgun a lot. Maurice Hurst is much better as an interior pass rusher used than Siaki Ika today. Ronnie Hickman is going to play, the undrafted free agent. Mahmoud Diabite is active as an undrafted free agent. So both of them, UDFAs, are active. And all the other rookies are. Luke Whippler, my apologies, and Isaiah McGuire are both inactive today. But Cedric Tillman is active. Cameron Mitchell is active. DeJuan Jones is active. So they have a decent amount of them active. I think I was a little surprised at how many were inactive today. But, that's not a bad problem to have. It really isn't. Bring some of these guys along the best you can. So that's really, really good. Appreciate that question, by the way. Thank you for it. Pee-wee said, I made future bets on AFC division winners. $5 equal 235 winning. I took Browns, Jets, Chiefs, and Jags. I mean, I don't know if you can necessarily go wrong with that one. That's pretty good. Pretty good, my friend. Let's see if we have any other questions here. Pee-wee, also thank you for this, my friend. Since you said this, we've actually, I believe, have like 39 likes. So we definitely increased that number. So thank you. Crystal says, obviously, Kentucky has internet.
Well, Coach Cal lives there, so that makes sense. Coach Cal lives there, so he's not going to let the state go without internet.
Here's a good question, guys. Joe Lewis at most glaring issue for the Browns is how Ward will handle full speed today. Can he stay healthy? Concussions are no joke. So there's the question. You guys think Denzel Ward can stay healthy?
I hope so.
Well, he can't take another concussion right now.
Yeah. No.
If he takes one right now, that's probably the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know
100%
what I mean?
is.
So that's the reason I wouldn't put him in the slot today.
Yeah. Really good one. Good one. A lot of comments. Listen, we're not taking too many shots at Kentucky here. Like, don't get me wrong. It's funny. You guys can have that in the chat, but I'm not.
If you want to take shots at anything, do Skyline Chili. Come on.
See, I've never did
exactly.
that, and I heard it was bad, so I didn't go there when I was in Cincinnati before. So I was
Conklin
like, nope.
is playing.
Conklin is playing. He will start. He's active. What the Browns are doing with Conklin and Joel Bitonio, just for people that are in the chat, they're unaware of this. Now, there's a good chance Conklin could be listed on the injury report. Anyway, but what they're doing with Conklin and Bitonio especially, they will be given multiple days off throughout the week. That's just where they are in their careers. Conklin, more so, isn't as old as Bitonio, but just the injury history. And if you have Conklin ready to go on Sunday, it's really all that matters. Crystal says Bengals win 27-24. Okay, fair enough. Christian says, let's go Dogs. Let's see. I'm seeing if we have any more good questions because we're going to start getting to the keys to the game and game predictions here. Better question is, can Myles Garrett not get into a fight? He has not in a couple of years.
When did he get into a fight?
Sasquatch 1%er. Love it. Our secondary has been kind of horrible against the Pat. That is kind of true. The last couple of years we've struggled a little bit. Do you guys feel like we have fixed those problems?
Yes,
I think we have. Those were communication issues.
And even so, I also think it was a schematic issue. I think you have a lot of cornerbacks that want to play press man, and you play the zone defense for the most part. They didn't like it. Yeah, you're right. Throwing up the hands. Oh, I thought that was your guy. I thought that was my guy. No, like that. I think those days are behind us with Jim Schwartz. Personally,
I agree.
And you guys think a DB or a safety gets a pick six, an INT or a pick six today?
I think at least a pick.
I would have said Juan Thornhill. But
I might say Martin Emerson gets a pick today.
Man, I like that. I like that one a lot, actually.
Today, if I was betting today, next week I'm getting back to betting, but if I was betting today, I'd bet Martin Emerson plus or over the 0.5 interception if that's what it was.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to say someone will. Rodney McLeod is going to get a pick today. Anyway, that's a really good question, Larkin, and the reason why Joe Burrow, I believe, threw at least 3, possibly 4 picks against Pittsburgh last year, week 1. 4. So just something to keep in mind. Burrow might be a little rusty today, like we covered earlier in the show. Anyway, we are getting to that point, gentlemen. It's unfortunate we're getting to that point because, we got so many people in here. And like I said, we really appreciate you guys. This is not going to be the last pregame. I promise. Not the last pregame show we're going to do this year. The questions are, what are your score predictions? But first, before we get to those guys, give your keys to the game for the Browns to win today and why the Browns will win today, how they can win this game.
I think it's limiting the yards after the catch. I think Cincinnati's going to be forced to work the quick game, get the ball in the playmakers' hands, but it's going to be short of the sticks. If you can get off the field. For me, when you're playing a team like the Bengals, man, if you hold them to less than 30, that's a victory. That's how explosive that offense is. You know what I mean? So for me, that's it. Limiting the yards after the catch because they're going to get theirs at times just based on their talent level, just based on who Burrow is. And he might throw some picks today, but he's also going to throw some tutters. There's just the only way around it. So limiting yards after the catch. Obviously, the pressure is the focal point of the defense, but I don't think that's a key so much as that's going to be there. Just based on the Browns' personnel, that's going to manifest itself. It's up to the secondary to get these guys on the ground short of the sticks.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just listening to Jim Schwartz press conference from the other day, and he was talking about he wants to lead the league in fewest points allowed, and then best third down conversion. And he kept talking about what Casey was just talking about, and I'm excited to see that because this is we finally have a defense that looks on paper that can back up what they are on the field, and we've never truly had that with Joe. We thought we had that for a while, and it just obviously never worked. So I'm very excited for that, but I think it's going to be making Joe Burrow uncomfortable is going to be the biggest X factor of this game. Is if that new defensive line in Jim Schwartz defense can get to him early and often, I think that's going to be better. And they've had success even in Joe Woods' defense of getting to Joe Burrow. Myles Garrett has had a lot of success against Joe Burrow, and I see that happening again today. So I'm excited for that matchup. I think that's the key. If we can pressure him the most and force him, especially on third down, to throw it away or throw a bad pass that either gets picked or just drops and goes to fourth down, I think that's where you win the game right there.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think it's overall just defense, this new defensive look, swarm the ball, get to the quarterback, stop their playmakers, and in essence, let's keep Burrow off the field as much as possible. Well, win time of possession too. So it's going to be a good game. It's not going to come easy. It might even be a little sloppy. I know we said that on Wednesday with FDP, but a win is a win is a win. So let's just go out there and get it done.
Absolutely. I think for me today, get pressure on Burrow. He's not going to be I don't think he's going to be very mobile. I think this injury lingers a little bit for him. It's not any. You have Orlando Brown Jr., who I think he's overpaid a little bit. I would say that. But then you're moving Jonah Williams over to right tackle. I think that's something people aren't talking about enough today. The Bengals offensive line, it is improved. but the Browns' defensive line is more improved. Get after Joe Burrow early on the offensive side of the ball. Take what the defense gives you. I know people want to see deep shots. I've heard it on local radio all week. Why didn't we see any deep shots in the preseason? Are we just going to nickel and dime it down the field all season long? They're going to take plenty of shots. Let Deshaun Watson be Deshaun Watson. Kevin Stefanski, take the training wheels off, and let's ride, baby. So that brings it to the moment, guys. Browns and Bengals predictions for today's game. Guys, drop them in the chat as well. We want to see them from you. All right, so we'll start off with Eddie. What is your prediction for today's game? What are you expecting to see? Let's get to it, boys. Let's end it. Let's end the show off right.
I got Browns 27-23. I think the offense, it's not going to not be – I think they're going to stall out in the first drive or two and then find their groove and then get on. I think the defense rattles Joe Burrow a little bit because he's not going to be as mobile like you said. But I just want to say this. I swear to God, I do not want to see on the first drive some shit about Kevin Stefanski if something doesn't happen that you think should happen. We are all sitting at home in our recliners about to watch these games and enjoy ourselves. We don't know what's happening down there. We don't know the ins and outs. So please just refrain from all the Stefanski hate. I swear, if we go 3 and out, that happens. That happens a lot in the NFL. The Chiefs did that in the entire second half the other night, and they're the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. So please just relax on that. But I think 27-23, the Browns take care of business. I think it's going to be a tight game throughout most of it, and then at some point the Browns go up 10 and the Bengals can't get back to the even point, just either within a touchdown or a field goal. So I think it's going to be good. I don't think Watson goes over 300, but I think he gets anywhere from 260 to 275, and it's just under that 200. I think he has at least 2 touchdowns as well.
Real quick before we go to our next prediction here, you will 100% see it. Just prepare your mind. Prepare your mindset now. I'm telling you, you're going to see it. I'm
doing
going
it
to
in the
see
preseason, dude.
Like, dude,
don't open Twitter. Don't open Twitter, and you're good.
Yeah, 100%. Just ignore it. Anyway, all right, Casey, what is your prediction for today's game?
Along the score lines, I'm close to Eddie. I got 28-24 Browns. I think they come out and I think they score early on their first possession, and then it kind of goes into a lull, like a slow first half, maybe 13-7, something like that. Then the second half it opens up. But I see this game ending with the Browns with the lead, with the ball. Chubb breaks a long one, but then chooses to slide instead of score. This thing ends in victory formation.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep. I said it Wednesday. I'm sticking with my prediction, Tyler. I got Browns 27, Bengals 24. I think it's a close game. I think it could be a little bit of a sloppy game. It might even come down to D-Hop making that final kick. You never know. So I got Browns 27, Bengals 24. You might see over 300 total yards rushing and passing from Deshaun Watson today.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, like I said on FDP, I am the one person that really has, I would say, picked against the Browns a lot last year. But I'm not going to start off this season doing that because I think the Browns are going to come out and win today. Joe Burrow has never won in Cleveland. I've said that multiple times, and I don't think it's going to happen today. I think he's going to be rusty. I think that he's not going to be the guy that he will be in a couple weeks. I really don't. And the same might be said about Deshaun Watson, but I still think Watson's going to play well. Kevin Stefanski is going to get some fans behind him this year. I know that some believe he's on the hot seat. He's taken a lot of criticism this offseason, but I think when they see this offense and what we're going to be rolling out, fans are going to be really excited. I also think Cleveland Browns Stadium is just going to be electric today, as it should be. Browns 31, Bengals 21. Also, guys, drop a like on the video, subscribe for Brand New Network 216. By the way, since we started the show, just to give, we are nearly 50 now subscribers away from 2,000.
Yeah,
we have gained. We've gained a ton of subscribers. We have a lot of you that are brand new to Network 216. We had over 300 people watching this. So first off, thank every single one of you. I wish we didn't have to end. Unfortunately, all good things do come to an end from time to time. But thank you guys so much for that support. We will be back next week for Browns and Steelers. Monday Night Football, we will have a pregame show for you guys. We'll work on exactly with the time and when that'll be. We will announce that on social media accounts and, of course, on YouTube. But thank you guys so much. Again, drop a like, subscribe for Brand New Network 216 on the road, 2,000 subscribers. One quick reminder, Network 216 is proud to be a partner of Homage Athletic Apparel. And with Homage, if you are a brand new customer, because a lot of you in the chat very well could be a brand new customer to Homage, if you go to their website and you type in your email address to get emails from them, they will give you a 15% off your first offer. Go take advantage, whether you're a Browns fan, Bengals fan, even if you're in the chat and you root for another NFL team. They have all the NFL gear you guys are looking for. Make sure you go take advantage of that. You're not going to find better retro apparel that also is comfortable that you can wear year-round. That's homage.com, and tell them Network 216 sent you. Guys, thank you all so much for making this pregame show a blast for us. All the Bengals fans are in the chat. Truly, we wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you guys for tuning in and being civil in the chat too, because we do appreciate that. It wasn't hostile or anything outside of some Kentucky chatter. But anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. We can't wait to talk to you guys all again soon. And as always, go Browns, baby.
Super Bowl, Super Browns. Let's go.